Hello, hello, hello. It's JCtheGuru here. This video is going to be a little bit different than some of my other content. I wanted to start putting on my YouTube different topics that I'm thinking about regarding Apex in terms of the state of the game and things that I think would be cool to add in, or just like thoughts on patch notes, different changes they're making, whether it's mid-season or different updates. So yeah, here I am. This is going to be the Apex assessment series. So this is going to be part one. I hope y'all enjoy. We're starting with Apex Legends Amped patch notes, and I think it should be pretty cool. There was a lot of changes going into Apex Season 27, and I wanted to talk a little bit about all of them. Not going to go too detailed into all the specific of the patch notes, but just giving general thoughts on how I think it affects us, how I think it's going to affect comp, especially because I'm playing comp a little bit more now. And yeah, just sharing my thoughts. Sometimes I might bring in guests for this series and stuff like that, but who knows? Gonna do it kind of podcast style, and go from there. So not too much raw editing, but just giving my thoughts as concise as I can. For those of you who want to support me in any way, definitely use code JCtheGuru at checkout on the EA app or an EA store if you're buying stuff for like Apex coins or Battlefield or EA Sports FC or any other EA title. So yeah, hashtag EA partner, all that good stuff. So appreciate y'all who try to support me and tap into all my socials that are going to be linked below. Going into the patch note, so Apex Season 27 amped appropriately because there's a huge Rampart buff, and there's also some buffs with Valkyrie and with Horizon. I'm glad that they're continuing to work on the anti-cheat. Being able to ban all these bot accounts is very important, so that's pretty cool. I also think it's amazing that they're fixing the audio. The early returns on it seems to be extremely promising, so I'm excited to play more and see how it goes, because I've just been kind of viewing other people with streams and stuff like that. So I'm gonna start playing tonight, as today is launch day of the new season. The game stability, it always feels like Apex like says they want to improve the stability of the game, especially with the switch to the Amazon servers, but I don't feel like we're getting the return of our fruits of our labor kind of thing quite yet. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, things get better and better. There's been rumors of Apex 2, all those type of things, but who really knows? But we'll see. In terms of ranked, I'm not sure how to feel about the increase the KP. They go more in depth about it later on in the patch notes, but yeah, we'll see. I don't really think a lot of people care about the ranked ladder, and maybe I can make another video on that later on because I don't think the ranked ladder is doing what they think it should do. But we'll see. I mean, we've had the rank ladder for a little bit, so I don't know. I'm not really getting a lot out of it. Like I feel like some people don't even pay attention to it, or if they do, it's kind of hard to get like the highest placement. I do think a good adjustment they made was making sure that entry costs don't count, so it's not skewed for people who are in different ranks. But I still don't think that really solves the problem. Like I would much rather like an in-game leaderboard of like all the top predators and stuff, so we don't have to look at third-party websites for that. But that's just me. I think if it was more comp focused, it would do better by everybody. Um, and then new feature wish list. Um, yeah, the wish list is cool. Being able to be more selective on all the stuff you can get from packs is helpful because sometimes it just feels like a bunch of everything, and it's like, okay, like really super RNG. So taking away some of the RNG out of stuff that you're buying and getting could be cool. Or if you get it from like I do, like Battle Pass or stuff like that. Different types of Apex packs if you can't like afford to get a bunch of packs on your own through your own money. I think that also works out as well. Um, New skins is cool. I'm not gonna usually touch on skins or anything like that in this type of series. I'm more talking about gameplay and stuff. So we'll keep moving on. Um, Care package rotation. The car going into care package looks really strong. Having hammer points or disruptor rounds looks insane. I can't imagine mid fight cracking somebody, switching to hammer points, and then destroying them with that. That would be insane. Very situational though. I think a lot of people are gonna either do one or the other. I probably would lean towards disruptor rounds, just because you want to get that crack, and I think that gives your teammates confidence to kind of full send that and like clean up the knock, or you can swing yourself type thing. So yeah. In terms of the gold weapons rotation, you have Alternator, G7, Havoc, Bocek, and Akimbo, which is all cool. Like, cool, whatever. In terms of the game updates, I'm so happy that they added this back. I felt like it was annoying, especially at comp side, where you couldn't really plan your rotates and like on your way out, like get supply bins or get assault bins unless you saw it on your loot path and you're able to ping it. But by that time, your assault character might be looting another side of the POI. So just knowing where those are spawning more consistently, I think is going to go a long way, especially for people who are doing random dropship in ranked and stuff like that. It'll be good to know, like, oh, I just want to loot this side that has the assault bin so we can get it quicker and get our evo up. Arsenals, another quality of life changes are beautiful, increasing the ammo, the bricks, so that you get a full stack. Because it was so annoying, like if you landed on like a shotgun rack, grabbing a PK, and then only getting like 10 bullets. In terms of the replicator, this build check is like quality of life thing again. I'm not really gonna dive too much into it. Again, I'm not gonna go too detailed into stuff like that. I do find it interesting though that they're removing heat shields altogether um from all modes, and I think that can be an overall positive thing. I know, like, especially from a casual perspective, it might be like a little bit annoying, like kind of like when they remove like gold knockdown and stuff like that, but I think changes like that has been an overall positive to the game, so I'm willing to rock with it. The mantle boost, I just gotta get more time and just make a more formalized opinion on it after that. I do like that there's a skill gap for people who've learned movement tank, like mantle jumps, super jumps, like all those type of things, super glides, all those good stuff. Shout out to Moki Sniper. I think he does a great job with his like movement, like wiki and all those type of things in his tutorials. So if you want people to check out, those are definitely good people. But yeah, I'm interested in how Mantle Boost kind of works its way into the movement community and even like a more casual community, because it's like way more accessible movement tech, like a kind of like sparrow jump or ash dash where you can just kind of like press a button and do it. But it also has a skill aspect to it where you have to time it properly, which I like. And it feels very similar to super glide. So yeah, we'll see how it works. The Trident change, again, I don't know how to feel about this at all. Um, Having Tridents being destroyable though, I think is a good change, because a lot of times from a comp perspective, you would like drive to a different location and you would use almost like the Trident as like an indestructible rampart wall or a Newcastle shield, where it's like, oh, I can just play this area because people from far away can't shoot me because they can't shoot my feet, and it's like harder for them to like nade the area and stuff like that, especially with whatever utility you're using. So you just get a lot of survivability. So having some counterplay to Tridents, I think, is really good. Because I think people would do a lot of weird stuff with it, and some would be funny, some would be cool, but I don't know. I think it'll be a good change just to kind of try it out. And being able to jump and glide with the Trident, I think, is also pretty cool. Now to the legends. Um, Valkyrie, big change. Essentially, her jet is completely revamped. All the cooldowns are like a third of what they used to be. You move so much faster and stuff like that. And I think this is really good for Valk. I think being able to have Valk be able to skydive, like use their missiles like anywhere and stun people, and even like not be stunned or be hurt by her own missiles, I think is good. I think it's a positive change when a lot of characters aren't like hurt by their own utility, because I think that leads to a lot of frustration mechanics. So whenever they do that, I personally enjoy it as a player of the game. Um, yeah, I don't like getting stunned by my own utility or getting hurt by my own utility. I just think it's not cool, especially when it happens like if I'm playing like Mad Maggie or stuff like that. Um, so yeah. Um, Other things in terms of the speed, yeah, like speed is good, all that good stuff. Um, I also think Valk, out of all the character upgrades, is going to be the most viable in comp, just because like having like wall hacks when you're like flying in on a rotate is really really important for knowing where you can land safely. So even if people are ratting a building, you'll know it because you can see them through the walls with the little triangles, which I think is extremely important. And even if somebody's playing a roof, you can decide if you think they're distracted to like make a play to miss all them, stun them where they have no movement ability, and then see if you can get a free pick as you're landing in. It's gonna lead to a lot of like cool little like plays that people can do. And I'm looking forward to seeing it as the highest levels of Apex. Um, Next for a Rampart has like a new like shield where you get like a roof over. You can see it right here, and I think that's great. Like, the changes that they made with the frag grenades where it does more damage is important. So having frag grenades still be able to do a lot of damage, but like if somebody just gets a lucky frag grenade over you and it lands on the top of the wall, you're not gonna insta die, which I think is a very positive, because I think the biggest weakness Rampart had was that you were able to just, if you're like low ground, just shoot over on top and just shoot down on ramparts way too easy. And you also could get skynaded way too easy. It was just like, oh, I see a rampart, get a buffer or skynade her, and it was just insta dead. It felt like your cover was just kind of useless because of the ways you could be outplayed too easily. Like there was too much counterplay. So I think this adds a lot more survivability to Rampart teams, and it makes it more reasonable to pick Rampart earlier on um, in the like cycle if you're doing like legend bans and stuff like that for comp. Next, Horizon. I think they just made Horizon more fun again. People were dying for Horizon to be fun, and I'm down for it. Like her being able to go up the lift faster, hover faster, be able to have the cool like perk where you can drop all the way down immediately. And yeah, it's just that's so cool. Having the option to do the newt scoot where you kind of like lifeline glide. All of that is super cool. And yeah, and get like the knock expert where you like knock somebody and you basically get the original skirmisher perk where you get a refresh on your Q, which is like your gravity lift. All great, all great. I have no complaints about the Horizon thing. I don't think it makes her too OP, but I am a little bit concerned about having the gold laser in the game, which we'll talk about in a quick second, right here, because I think that that almost like very high accuracy on the Q can lead to some unhealthy aspects of the game where it feels like somebody's going very high vertically at a very fast speed and also strafing, but also able to hit you at an extremely high accuracy, which makes you feel like you can't counterplay it as much. Um, how it looks in like rank so far and stuff like that, it seems like it's pretty fine and pretty balanced though. So we'll see how it goes. Because gold laser sight is so rare to get, and you have to do a lot of like fighting for that. So if you do end up getting that attachment, it usually means that you looted a lot or you fought for it or upgraded on the arsenal and stuff like that. Um, Amps. Reducing the healing of overflow, I think, is a good thing. I really do. Um, I think Overflow was a little bit too powerful in terms of like you pop the cell, you pop a syringe, and you instantly got back in the fight, even if somebody ripped you to 1 HP. That felt a bit too strong. So I'm fine with them nerfing it. I don't think it's completely useless, but it's definitely not going to be nearly as strong. Um, so yeah, and then more of the early spawning is going to be good for those as well. All the other amps, which is the over armor and the infinite ammo. The gold laser sight I just touched on, I think is gonna be really crazy because it's basically like the LMG like reverse like hip fire thing that they had, but now it's on SMGs, and SMGs already had better like sprays and blooms. So we'll see. I think it's gonna be super strong. I really do. Like it's gonna be a heavy SMG meta. The double tap trigger is gonna be cool. I don't know how to feel about the double tap trigger right now. It doesn't seem as strong as I thought it would be, just from early like play testing from what I've seen. So we'll see if people end up using it or still sticking with like an R9. The accelerator. This is the most big change low key I think in terms of the hop ups, because I felt like accelerator was so useful for people getting their ults quick from fight to fight. Like you wipe somebody and you basically have your ult right back if you use it in a fight. And it was like now you won't get that as much. So I'm really curious how the game plays, because I really liked having the accelerator in the game. I thought it gave a lot of incentive to play guns that might not be used as much, like the flatline, and yeah, it was just really good. So that's the most controversial change for me. Like I thought they were just gonna switch the guns that it was on, but removing it completely from the game I think is huge. Removing skull piercers from the game also huge. People were getting really tired of the marksman meta and not getting hit two tap for 111, 111. Definitely gonna make people rage a lot less. So yeah, the time to kill can get a little bit crazy with the power creep in Apex right now, but I think is a good change that they're making for that. The graffiti mod, losing power on the EVA 8 with the state that the EVA 8 is in, I think is not that good. I think the EVA 8 is just so situational. You have to get so in people's face for it to work for you, that I liked having the graffiti mod or some type of attachment to it. So not having that, I think, might be overall bad and make it the worst shotgun in the game, to be honest. The The Spitfire will still be in a good space, especially because Rampart is gonna be more meta. So I think the Spitfire will be fine without it, but it's gonna really hurt the EVA 8. And in that same breath, like the Mozambique, way more of an effective shotgun right now. Like it was already okay, but now with the graffiti mod, I think it's insane. Same thing with the Wingman, I think it's insane. And it makes up for the Wingman losing its skull piercer. The Wingman is gonna be so good, especially with the gold laser sight, just incredible. Um, the gun shield generator, removed from Rampage, that's fine, and added to triple take, that's fine. I don't think a lot of people like the style of the triple take and how it uses, but if you get really good with the triple take, I think it could be a sleeper pick this meta. Um, and then the select fire, they made that change beforehand, so this is like not new. This is something they already fixed. And then for the last bit of these, for the SLMGs, removing the hip fire mechanic from it really hurts LMGs badly. But I like that LMGs kind of have their place back where they were in a sense, because it did feel kind of like cheesy that you would die to somebody that's not as good as you because they just had like 30 more bullets than you, and their hip fire just essentially like became super accurate the more they shot their gun. Like, so they could whiff like half a clip and then eventually kill you because you ran out of bullets, and then their spray is not like is like super accurate. Like that felt kind of bad, especially with like Spitfire and stuff like that. So we'll see. I think it'll be a positive change overall, but for people who do like the LMGs, I understand the frustration where I don't feel like I could use it as much. But I think it'll be okay. This is a massive nerf to the marksman rifles, nerfing the projectile size, the launch speed. The launch speed also already felt like a bit bad for the repeaters, so nerfing it even more, I feel like it's kind of crazy. But they really gutted it. Marksmans are not going to be that good. I think the G7 will be fine, but the 3030 losing its skull piercer and having all those nerfs not going to be as great. I love that they added a 2-time to 4-time scope on the bow check. It's about time. It looks a little weird, I'm not gonna lie, but it's better than nothing. I felt like it was weird not being able to attach it to it. It was just like a frustration mechanic, and the more you take those out of a game like Apex, the happier I think the player base will be. They didn't really nerf the triple take that much coming out of the care patch, it looks like. But I don't know. We'll see if people end up like not sleeping on it the way how I think they're gonna be sleeping on it, but we'll see. P20s needed a buff. A lot of people didn't like it in the care package. Some people thought it was better when it was like on the ground, and I'm not sure if I agree with that, but it definitely could have used a buff. So increasing the fire rate and stuff like that. And when I'm spectating people, it almost looks like they fixed the hip fire a little bit because the hip fire was really bad. So yeah, we'll see. Um, but yeah, hopefully people enjoy it as a care package weapon, because it was really wild to see people picking up PK last season over like a care package weapon like the P20s, just because the PK was so strong and it felt like the care package weapon was so weak. The Re45 is in a weird place. I feel like if you're gonna like, I felt like the original plan was to switch to elite weapons every season, so I'm a little bit disappointed to see that the Re45 is like on the ground still as an elite weapon and not able to be changed to something else. And if you are gonna have it as an elite weapon, I would want it to feel elite. Like, I don't want it to be overpowered, but it still doesn't feel like as strong as I think it should be. So it's a weird feeling. It's a really weird feeling. Like, I think they could have nerfed the recoil, but kept the mag size the same as it originally was on the ground, where like everything, not just the purple mag, was increased by 3. But that's just my thoughts. In terms of the PK, much needed nerf. 108 was a little bit too much, so even if you 2-tap somebody on purple armor with 99s, they're still not gonna die. Early returns on the PK, when I'm seeing it in ranked and stuff like that, doesn't look too strong. Like, it looks like it's okay, it's viable, especially if you're early game fighting people with blue armor. But once people get purple armor, it could be a little bit harder to get your kills, so you just gotta be super skillful. And I think Peacekeeper is always good when it takes skill to use it to get kills, so I'm fine with that, even as a mouse and keyboard player. We talked about the alternator. The damage increase, I think it's good. I don't know how I feel about the double tap. The car I talked about, the Prowler, really big quality of life, being able to just hold down on the trigger and the burst continue instead of having to click every single time you do a burst. That was really annoying, so I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that kind of semi-automatic feel to it. The Volt increased projectile size, I think, will feel really good. I think you're still going to get shredded by an R9. Obviously, the car is care package, you'll get shredded by that too, but the Volt is still going to be good. And I think the Volt might even have the graffiti mod, if I'm not mistaken, on it still, because they didn't mention taking it off. Yeah, I think it still has a graffiti mod, so that's gonna feel really nice. Nerf to all the snipers with the projectile size, also really good. Like long range meta was a little bit annoying for sure. Especially with the maps we had with Olympus and Kings Canyon, where I felt like you could get shot from so far. So positive change. On E District, it didn't feel as bad, but it was still annoying. And yeah, I love all the changes they did to Olympus. Just W changes. Broken Moon, World's Edge, Olympus is okay. Ranked rotation. I always love when E District is in the ranked rotation. That's just me. It's my favorite map. And yeah, everything else not as important to me in terms of comp and like Apex in general outside of these rank changes, which we talked about. Increasing KP is going to be interesting. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I really don't know how to fix rank per se, because it feels like a lot of the changes in ranked is a player based issue to an extent, which might be a controversial take, but it's like people want to run around and kill stuff, but like I think a good change is to have stuff like this, but also make it so that there's a kill cap, so that people, like, once they get to like 10, 12, 15 kills, don't feel like they still need to be running around to maximize their KP. Because I think that's a little bit silly. There should be a point in the game where you have enough KP where you should be worried about winning the game to max out your amount of points that you get. So that's just my opinion on that, and I could go deeper into that in another video. And the drop zones, like normalizing the loot pool across all these POIs, another W change. So overall, W fixes from Respawn. A lot of stuff, the quality of life changes they fixed. Requeues with squads, all really good. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I hope y'all enjoy the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you do. And I'll see y'all later. Peace, peace.